Watch the Spritely Puck right here, yo.
Hi everyone, I'm Nikki, this is Sanders, and today we have our special guest Blossom with us.
Hey girl. Hi. What's up?
So we're going to do something a little bit different because it's summer, kind of, little break, hiatus, whatever you want to call it. And so we're going to talk about who we think should stay with the Dallas Stars and who we think should go. This is a bit of a controversial topic, I think.
Even between the three of us.
So we're going to start with the 3 forwards we would like to stay on the team.
Who's going first?
You can go first.
Alex Hemsky has got to stay. He has to. This man has potential, and we just haven't realized it yet. Hemsky has to stay.
Blossom?
I mean, he definitely adjusted towards the end of last season. So if we can find a place where he fits and feels comfortable, yes. But I don't think they've managed to do that yet.
But they're going to. I know they're going to.
Whereas we could probably trade him.
No.
And get a return of somebody that would find their home in our systems a little bit more easily.
He's almost there. Give him another season. He just needs one more season. I feel it.
Yeah, but Stars fans don't want to wait another season to get a cup. Or
no.
at least make the playoffs.
Oh, no. It'll happen during the beginning of the season. I just know it.
Clearly, this is a lot of controversy. He's on my you can go list.
No.
Mine too.
No. So, okay, but who else do we have on our list? Like, I put Patrick Eaves as my number one person to stay.
Me too.
I would be okay with that. I'm also really excited about Brett Ritchie. You know, he had 62% Corsi last season as a rookie, and that's pretty impressive. He just seemed to really be ready to take the step up to the big leagues. So that'll be cool.
If we're talking rookies, Kinza's got to stay. Curtis McKenzie needs to stay. I would see them putting him on an NHL contract.
Yeah, he was really good. I don't know if they'll put him on an NHL contract in the next season, but I think he's good to have in the organization. So I put Roussel as somebody else that I would like to keep because he brings a lot of energy to the game.
Yep.
And his penalty minutes are still high.
He's a fighter. What do you want?
Well, but that's the thing. Like, you got to have at least one of those.
Yep.
I had Cody Eakin as my third.
Yeah.
Because he struggled at points last season, but that's because he was doing everything. He was on the first line, he was on the checking line, he was up, he was down. So whatever hole we had in the roster, the coach could call on Cody Eakin to fill that spot. And I mean, we saw him in Worlds just recently. Like, if you put him with the talent, he can do amazing things.
I was just mad about his game that he got benched for behavioral problems. Like, that sucks.
Well, but that's him,
That's his attitude.
It seems like he got his attitude back together and stopped causing trouble, so.
And I do love our checking line. Like Roussel and Eakin and Fiddler or Herkoff. It's great. Yeah. It's so much fun to watch.
To clarify really quick, though, we're not saying we don't want Tyler and Jamie to stay. We're just saying we don't need to talk about them.
Well, I mean, I felt like we needed to talk about people on the team other than Tyler and Jamie because clearly they're not leaving.
Nope. They're not going anywhere.
I mean, there's other people that are going to stay, but I really think that it's important to focus on some of the grinders and all of that, these other guys. So, yeah.
Are we ready to switch gears to
so we're going to, so who do you guys think should, like, what forwards do you guys think should go?
Travis Morin,
the rookie?
Mm-hmm. I don't want him. He didn't do any good for us.
But he played a few games, right?
Yeah, and he was not much help.
Yeah, Morin or Moen. Like
the Travises.
The Travises.
Send them away together. Package deal. Travis squared. See you later.
I mean, Moen is basically there to fill up, like, when we need a body on the ice for 2 minutes a game. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like,
we can do better.
Yeah, he wasn't really getting much play time towards the end of the season. And
right.
He was on and off the ice. He'd be like, Travis Moen, healthy scratch. Again.
Oh, darn.
Yeah.
I had Hemsky as a possibility. Sorry, boo.
Why you gotta do that to him?
Well, it took him so long to start really producing steadily. And then when he did, he was on a line with Spezza and Cole.
And then we pieced out Cole.
Well, they traded Cole, and Hemsky lost his mojo again. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't find chemistry on the ice easily. And I think I think that if he doesn't start producing pretty quickly in the next season, like in the first month, I don't think he'll stay. I don't think that he's really doing much for the team. He's not really doing much at all.
But I think when he woke up big. Because he went on a rampage as soon as he woke up. And I just feel like...
Well, that's because they finally found that chemistry.
Yeah, but I also feel like part of his issue was that he had that hip problem and didn't do anything about it till after the season.
You can argue that, but Jamie had a hip problem all season is getting their Ross trophy.
But,
so I'm gonna disagree with you.
No, but you gotta understand that it's also Jamie freaking Benn. He's had one team that has trusted him and given him time to grow and become a great captain. Hemsky has been tossed from team to team to team. No team has trusted him.
But why do you think that is?
Because nobody's given him a chance. Nobody's given him a chance.
Do you want to weigh in on this?
It's just, he seems to be, like Spritely Nikki was saying, just so slow to develop chemistry with people. And we could probably find a player for him that would be a sure bet. That maybe would not go on to become as brilliant as Hemsky has the potential to be. But also might not go on this 22-game no-scoring streak.
That wasn't entirely his fault. His teammates didn't trust him. They didn't. You could see it on the ice. But
why would they trust him if he's not doing anything?
They didn't trust him from day one because he was new. They didn't trust him from day one.
But I personally think that the Jason Spezza, Ales Hemsky acquisition, there was so much hype around it, and then neither performed like fans expected them to.
I could agree with that.
They wanted them to kind of be the next line, Jamie and Tyler.
But then they kept pulling Hemsky off of Spezza's line and moving him around.
Well, no, they moved Spezza around some and everything too, but Hemsky could not find that chemistry, whereas you have someone like Patrick Eaves who can produce on any line that he's put on. So I think
I still think Hemsky should stay.
I think that Hemsky should go.
Speaking of, I guess we'll have to.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree there. But
Yep.
Speaking of other players we want to see traded, there was some talk of Garbett.
Yes.
Okay, I love Garbs. I love the way he enforces, but sometimes he does stupid crap, and then he gets his butt in trouble, and then he has to pay all the stuff and miss all these games, and it's like, Garb, either check the attitude or check yourself out.
He had pretty big issues this season, it seems like.
Pretty big discipline issues, and
he got angry. He had anger issues.
And his underlying possession stats were not strong. And I think he in some ways belongs to an older school of hockey, which is about being tough and punching faces in. But Dallas is trying to transition to a smaller, fast-paced, possession-based team. And he just might not be the best fit anymore.
And I love Garbs. Garbs was a great guy, and he's real nice, and he's a sweetheart. But on the ice, he has what I like to call sports-induced rage on a very intense level.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And it's been costly for the team because of that. He doesn't seem to have some self-control in circumstances where he should. He's been playing the game long enough that really should not be an issue.
Yeah.
Especially because he played in college where you're not allowed to do some of those things.
And I think that's probably where all the pent-up sports-induced rage came from.
Well, I mean, yeah, Curtis McKenzie played through college and is...
He beats people up all the time.
Right,
but he's smarter about it.
Yeah. He's like Jamie. He'll fight when he needs to.
Yeah.
Garbett's fighting...
whenever he can.
I feel like Garbett's is not a team fight. Like, he's not fighting for the honor of his teammates. He's fighting for himself. Yeah, exactly. So, you guys have seen me tweet about my noisy neighbors, right?
What is this? We're trying to film here, people.
It's not like I have a little red light outside saying filming, but anyway. Okay, so we've kind of talked about our forwards. So let's switch gears to the defense. And what defenseman would you like to see go?
Dude, Jordy, peace out, bro. See you later. Go back to Canada. You're done. I'm done with you. I can never get on the Jordy bandwagon. And I even had points this season where Jordy did some amazing things. And I was like, yeah, go Jordy. What is coming out of my mouth?
Whereas I feel like if you look at what we're paying him peanuts. And we're getting a really solid, second or third pairing defenseman. Especially when you pair him with Demers later in the season. He's solid. And we're not going to get anybody that's going to give us those kinds of minutes and that kind of production for that cheapest salary.
Unless it's a rookie. Hint, hint, wink, wink, Yoki Paka.
He makes less than some of the rookies who are, when they're called up, he makes less than they do when they're on the NHL ice.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty bad for somebody who's been with the team for a little while.
And we need, like, some first-line superstar genius young rookie defenseman to come up, like Klingberg. But we also need, like, a third-pairing defenseman that's just solid. And Jordy's that.
But we only get one more season with the Mares, and then what? Jordy's going to fall apart again?
And that's, Jordy's kind of a risky player. Like, he's somebody that you have to gamble on, and sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad, but he's not somebody that you want to put all your money on.
But how many defensemen do we have on the team right now that are older, solid, veteran presences? Like, you've got Goligoski, and then you've got Daly, which we'll get to in a minute. And so we need a Jordy.
I understand where you're coming from, but
I don't know that we need Jordy.
Well, and I would agree with you there, because we've got all of these defensemen that are coming up through the organization
that are like 12 years old.
Right.
But they're doing just as good, if not better, than Jordy when they're on the ice.
How many games did we have rookies playing this season?
90% of them, roughly.
It was a lot, because we've had injuries and all of that. So I don't think if Jordy gets traded, if he goes, I don't think it will be they just get rid of just Jordy. I don't think that would happen.
You think they're going to do a Jordy package?
I think it would have to be a package. Mm-hmm. He would have to be packaged up with a couple of forwards or something.
The Travises? Travis Squared in a Jordy package?
And I don't know who would take him, but...
people who think they can fix what he does wrong?
And maybe somebody could.
I just don't feel like he's a Dallas Stars hockey defenseman.
But, I mean, he's solid, and a lot of teams are doing a lot worse. Like,
defenseman-wise, yes.
Yes.
So, you mentioned Daly.
Daly needs to stay.
And I love how loyal he's been to the team. Just as a person, he seems like a really great guy. But his possession stats are awful. And if you look at the with or without you stats, not only is he not good himself, but whoever you pair him with, he brings their stats down too.
Except for Klingberg.
But that's because Klingberg can literally play with the 7-year-old I babysit and be
Klingberg is kind of like the Patrick Hughes of the defense.
Yep. I'd give you that. I'd definitely give you that. Klingberg is our defensive Patrick Hughes.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, just like, Daly got the A. Like, yes, okay, Ottawa gave away their captain. But, like, you don't just give someone the A and then kick them out the next season.
Well, if they're not producing for the team like they should be, then it's something you do have to consider.
But he also had injuries to get over that affected the way he plays. Because, as an athlete, I can personally speak that when you have an injury, it affects the way you play. I fell a couple weeks ago in my hockey.
I don't think you even have to be an athlete to tell it.
But, I fell 2 weeks ago, and then Thursday night in my game, I was completely hesitant. I barely checked at the puck as much as I could have because of my injury. And that happened to Daly. He got badly injured in his knee, and he had to do something about it. And he waited, and he waited, and he waited, and by the time he came back, he was hesitant to do things.
So, on the plus side, he might be one of those contracts we can't trade because he is 31, which is about the point where, for defensemen, injuries start stacking up. He's going to start slowing down. Like, things aren't going to get better from here. Sadly. And he has a really expensive contract, so we're probably going to get to keep him anyway. So, happy for you.
Daily stays.
Well, and I've always, and like, while I was thinking about who I thought should go from the defense line, I just thought, I don't think I would get rid of both Daly and Goligoski, but I think it would be one or the other. If they move,
so good.
If they move somebody, I feel like it'll be one or the other. It won't be both.
I don't think we'll get rid of Goose anytime soon.
Well, and we can't get rid of both because, like I said, like our average defense age is 12. Like, we need somebody that's legal to drink in this country.
Yeah, how many of our defensemen can't drink right now because they're still under 21?
Yeah. We've got a lot of promising young talent coming up. We've got Yoki Paka and Alexiak and Klingberg, and Hunka's going to be ready. And of all of those, I was thinking probably Alexiak could go because Klingberg is amazing. We're keeping him. Yoki Paka's been great, and Alexiak is just not quite on their level yet. And so if we're going to trade somebody that shows a lot of potential and we can get a really, really good return for, I would probably go with Alexiak. So, out of all of them.
keeping defenseman?
I would like us to keep Klingberg and Nemeth. Like, I know Klingberg signed
Nemo!
that ridiculous contract, so obviously
We're keeping him.
keeping him for a while.
That's why I didn't put him on my list.
Well, I was just like, I mean, he was really shockingly good.
Dude came out like a bullet and tore up the ice, and I am so proud of him.
Well, and he was consistent with it too. Not all rookies, they might have a good game, they might have a few bad games, but he was consistent, and I liked seeing that. So
I want to keep Nemo. We found him at the end of the season, and I'm happy we did, and I don't want to lose him.
Well, I think he shows a lot of promise, with the injury and everything too, just being able to come back out on the ice and do his job, and without hesitation.
Battle back.
Yeah. So
I'm proud of Nemeth. He came out strong at the end. Other defensemen I want to keep. Well, we already know we definitely have Demers for one more season, but after that season, I'd like to see us re-sign him.
Yeah, and I feel like, especially going back to the argument about Jordy, if we can keep Jordy and Demers together as our second or third line, just solid veteran defensive pairing. I mean, we need that. We need somebody.
We do, but
Well,
I
Jordy
feel
needs
like
somebody
if Demers
who-
can fix Jordy, maybe Demers can fix Daly.
Statistically, that's
No.
not happening.
But that's from that season. That's from this past season. Now they have the whole summer to work out together and get better together.
well, but they don't spend every moment of the summer together.
No, they don't. But I'm just saying, like, they have the potential to work out in the off season together to get him better.
But I mean, if you look at, I don't know, the team's Instagram or whatever, Jordy and Demers do really seem to have struck up a friendship and become friends, and they have
absolutely.
that chemistry,
'Cause
and they
they're both
really
single.
do. If you look at the with or without you stats, they're so much better together than they are apart.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. I mean, I noticed it throughout the season that Jordy does definitely play better with Demers, and so I just don't think it says much when you only find that chemistry with one person. It's like, it's like with Alshensky. He found a good chemistry with Spezza and with Cole, and then the minute Cole was traded, he fell apart again. I think that that's too risky to have people on your team who are going to fall apart like that.
Well, and I just don't think it was all on Hemsky. I think we put a lot on Hemsky because he was the young gun out of everybody, and he's not even that young anyways. But I'm just saying, like, we're putting a lot on Hemsky that wasn't entirely him.
So what do we think about the goalie situation?
Okay, here's the deal. Pretty sure Enroth is piecing out on us.
I'd love to keep him, but
Me too.
rumor is he's going back to Buffalo.
Please don't go back to Buffalo. They've got Anders. They don't need you.
Well,
Buffalo's going to be really interesting next year because they're going to have Jack Eichel, they're going to have Evander Kane, they're going to have their new coach, they're going to have, decent goaltending. I mean,
and if Dallas could just not fall apart when they play them, that would be awesome.
Hey, we didn't at the end of the season. It was just during the season, earlier in the season. When they put Anders in that, we were like, nope, peace out, dude.
It was still like they fought really hard for that. They fought harder than they should have had to.
Oh, for sure, with how low Buffalo was in Tank Nation.
I just think that. I mean, I agree. I don't think that they'll keep Enroth. Like maybe they'll for a little bit, but I think that
I'd like to.
he's
going to
be expensive to keep.
Out. Yeah, he's probably going to peace out.
He's a UFA, and I don't think that they'll keep him. I don't have a lot of confidence in Kari.
He had a hard season, and part of it was just the fact that he had concussions and was not given enough time to fully recover because Tim Thomas sucked.
Yeah. And I also think, like, there's some talk about the goalie coach maybe exacerbating the problem. Have we done anything about...
Do we have a new goalie coach?
No, we
Not that I
don't.
heard of.
Well, and what I think, and I have said it all season long, is that they don't put enough confidence in the backup goalie.
Oh, right.
And I personally am tired of the Dallas hockey media people defending Kari. I'm tired of it.
Well, I mean, there are times where Kari deserved to be defended, but there were times where Kari just
But
sucked.
as a generalization for the whole season, you want to talk about not having any confidence in a player. Lindback wasn't given enough of a chance at the beginning of the season.
But he also sucked, too.
But he wasn't given enough play time.
That I agree with you on completely.
Like,
if Anders had been given...
Goalies
like,
have to have regular play.
If they had spent the first month of the season going Anders, Kari, Anders, Kari, Anders, Kari every other game, first off, Kari probably wouldn't have had as bad of a season. Second of all, Anders may have been much more productive for us. Third of all, I just feel like when you don't do that in the early season, all you're saying to that player is, well, you're on our team and we pay you, but you're not going to get to do anything. You're useless to us. That's like the person that you hire to like look like they're working while the other people actually do the work.
Right, but why would you do
Exactly.
that?
That's my question. Why would you do that? That's dumb.
Yeah.
That's a waste of money, a waste of locker space, a waste of ice time, a waste of everything, a waste of his life, his job.
Basically a waste of resources.
A waste of everything.
If we're talking about goalies we could possibly get to be our new backups,
Yes.
Kari Ramo from the Calgary Flames is UFA. He would be a nice, solid backup.
He's good, but I don't want to flame here.
People have been talking, I just got alerts today from the NHL app saying that a lot of people are talking about Craig Anderson with the Sens, who's also a solid backup goalie.
Ooh, more Senators.
I can pick my list here. I've also heard trading for Reimer from Toronto, or Markstrom, or Robin Lehner. Like, there are some really solid backup goalies there that, Jim Nill could work his magic.
But if we're going to keep treating our backup goalies the way we did this past season, we're just going to keep burning backup goalies out.
And it hasn't been just this season.
No, it's
and
normal.
That's
where the Kari obsession comes from.
I mean, so maybe the problem isn't just the goalies. Maybe the problem is also the coaching.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I think our goalie coach is not doing something right.
Coach.
I mean, it seems like goalies get worse when they come here.
Which is not supposed to happen, by the way.
In case you didn't know,
You're not supposed to suck all of a sudden.
And then leave us and then go on to shut us out.
We don't want to talk about that, okay?
Hashtag embarrassing.
Hashtag that didn't happen. That did not happen.
Yeah.
I was not there for that. That never happened.
But yeah, I've kind of thought throughout the season that anytime they would bring in the the backup goalie and it just wouldn't go well. And I think the backup goalie has plenty of time to kind of get their head in the game and figure out what they need to do when they're on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when your goalie clearly is having issues and they're not pulling him or they're playing him when he's that bad, I do think that's when you kind of have to look at the coaching staff and figure out if there's a problem there.
Yeah.
If they're letting Kari stay on the ice too long, or if they're letting him play games when he's falling apart and not replacing him, that's...
Yeah. Some of our biggest wins from our backup goalies came when we pulled Kari.
Well, because if you pulled Kari and you put your backup goalie in...
No, I'm just saying, like, some of our big wins for our backup goalies came when we didn't start them, but we pulled Kari and put them in.
Yeah, Enroth had really good games when they pulled Kari to Enroth. I felt like went out there with the attitude of, well, I'm going
my job to fix it.
Yeah.
My job to fix it. Let's go.
Yeah, Enroth
but
really
rose to the occasion. I also feel like when Enroth was first there, and even with Anders, our defensemen kind of were like, oh, great, the backup's in at first. But after a while, like after 1 or 2 games of knowing how good he was and trusting them, they were cleaner on the ice because of it.
Well, and they give them a little more space and don't
they don't want to crowd up on him.
If we haven't done anything in the front office to change up the goalie coaching situation, at least the defense looks to be more solid this year, and that should help things a lot.
Yeah.
Because I mean, part of it is on Kari did not have a good season, but part of it was like our defense was a mess. So
yeah, and it does seem to have kind of gotten its act together, and I think that we're gonna see with the younger guys coming up that we're gonna have some better defense regularly.
Now my question is, goalie speak, by the way, back to that. How many more seasons before Jack Campbell is NHL ready?
I mean, he's older. Goalies.
Is he ever going to be NHL ready?
Someone told me goalies take longer to cook, and I think that's a really cute phrase to use for it. But Campbell is how old? Like 24, 25?
Hey, that's not old. I'm 25.
No, I'm not saying that it's old.
But it's hockey old. It's hockey old.
But if you look at the average age of players, that's kind of right in the middle.
Well, but goalies, they do take longer. 24, 25 is about when you would want to see a goalie breaking into the NHL. And Jack Campbell's had some pretty bad seasons. Like, they were thinking this past season maybe they could bring him up, and no. On the plus side, our other backup goalie, DeRosier, he just...
that dude
is amazing. Has
killing
been
it.
Killing it. But is he in the queue? I want to say he's a couple leagues down still.
Yeah.
But
Too low. He's too low, but he'll get there.
If he can
Yeah.
get there, maybe 4 years down the line, we have a good solid backup
Right.
goalie and then a possible replacement for Kari. But Jack Campbell has not been showing.
I wanted
promise
Jack
for-
Campbell to be
Yeah.
NHL ready so bad after this season, but he just
Yes.
wasn't.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I liked him.
And he's been a solid AHL goalie, but they're
Yeah.
saying he may not ever be NHL level.
That sucks for him, though.
Well, yeah, but sometimes you just kind of, yeah. So
Is that it? That's everything?
that's everything.
That's all we're talking about? Keep us posted on your lives. We'll be on
Yeah.
Twitter.
And if you're a skater or dancer in the area, you should go try out for the Dallas Stars Ice Girls.
Do it.
Yeah, they're cool.
Well, thanks for having me on
Yeah,
again.
thanks for
We
coming.
missed
Blossom.
you.
Yeah, now that school is over, I might be able to show up a time or two. I
Yes.
missed you guys too.
All right. Well, that's all for now.
Bye, guys.
Bye.